Alright guys, this weekend we're going to do a little body work on this quarter over here. Hopefully get the hood off, front fenders maybe, take the trunk off. I'm just going to show you how I index those so when I put it back together it's all back on. And yeah, let's get into this one. Alright guys, well it's Friday afternoon. Work was a little slow, so I kind of got off early. So what I did so far is I kind of taped off the trunk, and then this whole area right here I mixed up some fiberall, and then I just layered it in here over that factory, well not factory, but where they put in the other quarter panel. You know how it was pushed in a good bit, and I can't hammer and dolly that out because the MIG weld is way too hard. So, and with the budget and stuff that we got going on, we're just fixing what's there. So that's what I started doing. I started laying it out here and along that edge there, and what I do is I tape the hood or the trunk, and then I roll the tape over onto the trunk so the body line is there. And right here where the tape is, that makes sure that the trunk is closed in its final position, because you know, it might be off about 1/16 of an inch because of the seal that's going to go in there. We don't have a new seal to put in for me to test fit that, so we're just going off of where it's at right now. And I think in the long run, and especially how the customer wants the build to go, 1/16 of an inch is just fine with him. So let me swip the camera around and then I'll show you what we swiped. Okie dokie. So here's the fiberall product. So what I do is I'll back tape it here, and then I'll tape it on here. So I'm just starting to smooth out that body line from there to there, from here to here, and all the metal welding that I did, and then all the way here from where I ground it out. So now I'm just kind of filling up that groove right there that was from the quarter panel put on. So with that being said, this is going to be kind of difficult because usually I use two hands for this. So I'll take that and then I'll run that down that edge, right, before the Duraglass or the fiberglass stuff gets too strong. And undo that. Actually, you know what? Let me put you up on the stand. So I took this off. So what it is I back tape it. So I back tape it up. So when I run my fiberglass product, it gives me a good starting point for where this is, right? So I'm a little overlapped here, a little bit, I'm close here, farther away here. But once I sand that to match that line, it'll be dead perfect. The gap will be perfect all the way down. So this is just a rough fill-in. So with this, I go over it with 80 grit on a block, and right now it's still a little tacky because I don't over harden this stuff, you know. So I don't mind it setting up a little bit. This right here is still pushed in right here. It's low, but once we get this whole quarter panel finished, blocked in primer, and blocked again, it'll be like brand new. So I'm going to let that set up a little bit. And in that meantime, I'm going to show you what I do for alignment stuff before I take everything apart. Because everything right now is shutting very good. It's got some good lines, hood, stuff like that. So let me show you that. So underneath the hood, it's going to be hard to show you. Nope, there we go. So right there. So I'm going to put another hole down there. But this is an 1/8 inch pilot hole, so to speak. So when I put the hood back on, I put in 1/8 inch drill bit on the other hole that I'll put in, and then that will put this hood hinge in direct relation to how it was before I took it off. So they're just like little pilot holes, right? And I do that on both sides. So this has got 2 holes here, that's got 2 holes there. And I put 2 holes in there because they can slide around, right? Meaning the hood can slide around on the hinges. And then on the trunk, I do the same thing. See? 1, 2. They're small. They're not noticeable unless I just pointed them out to you. But when I put this back on, I can just put in 2 1/8" drill bits, tighten up the bolts, and it'll be in the exact same spot as it was before I took it off. And then there's 2 on that side. Because I'm about getting ready to take this trunk off, I want to take the hood off so I can get the fenders off. So we did find online, it's on back order of course, I did order it, this entire top cowl piece. So the top cowl piece does come separate from the bottom, from the whole unit. All his damage is up here. It's not down below there. So once I get these fenders off, I'll get more into, I guess these are known, these little side pockets that are behind here. They're also known to rust out because of basically this kind of deal right here. These little ports, there's like a little fresh air system, and leaves get down inside the bottoms of the fenders, and it loads up, sits there, gets wet, starts eating out the metal, and yeah. So once I get these off, once I get the hood off, I can get the fenders off, and then go into there, because hopefully that will be all okay. Yeah. Basically that's what's going on. So we're going to let this harden up, and then we're going to start blocking it. So like I said before, I do not like 40 grit. 80 is the lowest I go, and it's on a block. So I'm just going to start shaping this, and then we'll go from this. This is Friday night. My wife's kind of out right now shopping and stuff like that for dinner, so I don't know how long I'm going to get done tonight, but this weekend we're definitely going to be hitting this quarter pretty good. And plus the owner will be here tomorrow, so I'm going to actually have him help me take the hood off because it weighs about 1,000 pounds, and then we'll probably switch up there, start taking the front end apart. Yeah, so we're going to kind of be all over on this one. All right, here we go. So this is a neat little sander. I've never used one before. I just bought this just for this. But as you adjust that, it curves it. See that? So I've always wanted to try one. It's got 2. You can do sticky paper or Velcro. I use sticky, so yeah, I'm gonna give this a whirl. Okay, I like it. That's really good. Yep. Wow. So I'm hitting metal right there, right here, and right there. Yeah. This has to is low right here. And then through here, here, and here is low. Let's see how this is. Yep. Let me bring you in here. So there we go, look at that. That's a pretty good line. I'm a little tight right here still. Right here. So yeah, it's a little bit more sanding from here to here. So you can see that's all, this is all warped all through here. And there's a big dent right there, right here. Yeah, right through there. So this whole area is pretty beat in. I did bring my body hammer this week from work, so I can try to hammer that out. Okay, let me get this a little bit more, right here. That's the right way to do that, right? Yeah. So I back tape that so when I swipe, it won't go into the channel because my line is perfect. And then that's why I do that, because I don't, it's easier just to peel some tape with some of that stuff on it than it is to sand it all and then possibly throw out your lines. So I'm going to mix up some more fiberall, put some more in the lower spots, and then probably let that sit overnight, and then tomorrow morning I'll start back on it. My wife's home, she just pulled up, so dinner. So let me spread this real quick, and then I'll show you. So what I like to do on the end, I'd kind of tilt my spreader like that. Just kind of gives me a natural taper. And I know this may be wasteful, but I usually never use the same spreader twice because it does that whole whippoorwill. Spreaders nowadays are cheapish. They're very cheap. So, you know, I just get a whole pack of like 50 or 100 of them. And yeah, and let me get down here. And when I do my Bondo work, I don't build this up with Bondo, right? So I'll do it with this Fiberall Duraglass stuff because this is what this is made for. I feel Bondo in itself, or the 3M Platinum filler or whatever, shouldn't be more than like 1/8 of an inch, possibly 3/16 of an inch. I mean, I know that's, I don't know, that's kind of on the fence. And as far as glazing putty goes, no, I don't use it unless I have a pinhole. So I'll build it all up with the Fiberall, and then once that's where I want it, then I'll do one skim coat of the 3M Platinum filler stuff. And then I'll block that out, and I always finish all my bodywork out in 320. It's better for primer, I feel, and then I guide coat it and then block it out. So that in a nutshell. So I'm gonna let that set up. Once it sets up, I'll get you in on a close view to see how awesomely smooth that is, like icing in a cake. Of course, I've been doing this since '91, so you get better as you get going. All right, we'll be back. Alrighty. Look at that, all nice and smoothish. Not a lot of sanding is going to be required to knock that down real quick. So that's what we're going to do tomorrow. We're going to work on the quarter here, this dent. We're going to try to hammer that out a little bit, see what we got going on down here as far as rust. Up in the front we're good, there's no rust here. Yeah, let's see how we do, and then take that lead out to a point. We'll fix this a little bit. Yep. So we'll catch you in the morning. All right, good afternoon now. So the owner came over, we took the hood off, and he did his wiring that he wanted to take care of. He also changed out his master cylinder while I was here. So that's where we're at. Oh, we also got all new door seals and everything ordered up from Original Parts Group. And he ordered like a dash, like the dash piece, the padded part of the dash, right? So we ordered one of those too because he wanted one. So now what we're going to do is we are going to start back on the quarter, start smoothing that out, work on the dent. We are already like 1 o'clock, so it's but you know what, I had a great time with him here, talked to him. It was awesome hearing some stories and all that stuff. He's awesome. So anyway, so let's swing you around, and then we'll start getting back on that quarter panel and getting that straightened out as much as we can with the time we have. Let's start it. Alrighty, so before we get too far into the rest of this, I want to kind of work this. It's a high spot here, low spot down here. So I don't really have access to the back inside because the wheel tub is so close to it. So I'm gonna have to, I have enough room to put my dolly up in there. So I'm gonna put the dolly up in there right where the crease is, and then I'm gonna tap around the crown spot as I'm pulling that. So hopefully it'll bring it out. It should. As long as I can reach up in there and hit on the outside, we should be good. So it's crowned. So this side is going to go up where the dent is. So this is where I'm aiming for right here. So this is obviously high, and then that's still low right there. But I already brought it out, actually, just from that. But I have the crown, it's basically like that. So there you go. So now you can see it pretty good. So when I'm hitting the metal, you'll see I kind of have a downward stroke. So basically I'm trying to move the metal back into its original place, right? So this is kind of stretched, because when it's pushed in, it stretches it. So I'm just trying to kind of condense the metal all back into the area. So that's relatively flat now. So the crown is gone. And then it's a little high right there, but it's still low, a little bit right through here. So, and that's how you kind of manipulate it. If I had a slapper, I could slap it on the outside, but I don't have one. So let me move this around. You just kind of go for it. Okay. Alrighty. So let's get back on to sanding this section. So that's what I'm going to be doing on the rest of this, just sanding just like that. And then once I get it all sanded smooth or out, I will come back. So yeah, be right back. Okay guys, so there we have it. So I switched up to this little guy right here. We'll sand that up in here because it's the perfect width. It's actually the exact width of what I needed up there. I fired up the compressor. What I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of mow all this down over here with my DA. It's a little quicker. DA with 80 grit on it, just to get all the flaking clear off it and get back down to the metal right through there, or right in that area right there. And so I'm letting the compressor pump up because I don't run it all the time, so it takes a minute to fill up that 80-gallon tank. So once that gets all pumped up, I'll grab the DA, I'll 80 grit it all the way out, and then start working the next section right here, up there. And I'll probably, all those stripes, I have to flat sand it out so there won't be any residual coming through the paint, right, or the primer. So I'm going to also hit that with 80 grit to kind of knock that down. That'll show me what kind of rust is down in the bottom. I think it's just like little pinholes, but we'll see. And we'll take care of all that stuff as we go. Actually, while that's pumping up, let me show you what he brought me, some parts. So he brought this is new to him, chrome front bumper. It's in great shape. It's used, but there's no dings in it. The chrome's perfect. He picked that up at a swap meet or something like that, or a guy swapped out his new bumper, or a bumper with a new bumper. So he picked that up a long time ago, he said. So like I said, the hood is off. He did put a new master cylinder in there because it was leaking really bad all over everything. And then he cleaned up all his wiring with the block. This is just for now. He didn't have a charging system before. Now it's charging. Everything's good. So the hood's off. I did take the front bumper off while he was here, so he could take that with him. I took this headlight bezel out. I'm still working on this one. You know, he's working on the wiring. I'm working on taking the front end apart so he could take it with him. So I thought I was going to start taking off this this fender right here. So these are plastic. So I can't get to these bolts right here because his front tires are so tall. I can't get anything. So I was just going to pull off the bumper or the fender with the inner fender. So once I get it off, then I can take off the hinge. There's bolts right down in here to have that, and then there's two up here for the fender. There's a brace that goes down below in the front, and then a couple body bolts here. There's one behind this door right here. And then I thought I'd start with the hardest ones, which are the ones that are down below right here. This one and this one. So right now, when I started loosening them up, it started going pretty good, and then whatever's back here, I think there's a cage nut inside this section that this bolts to, is just spinning. So yeah, so I got to figure out how I'm going to take these off. I mean, even if I have to cut the bolts and then peel the fender up and then take care of all this once I get the fender off, I'm going to do that. But we need the fender off so we can do the, take care of this rust section right here, clean that all up, see what's going on, and then go behind and clean up this whole shoulder. They call it a shoulder piece. But now with the hood off, you can see all that. That's okay though. We're taking care of it. That's what we do. That's what we're going to do. We're going to take care of all that. He is going to flat black or wrinkle black the firewall. He said he's going to take care of that. But all these pieces, I'm taking this off. I'm going to paint this the color of the car. I'm going to wire wheel it, grind it all down, get rid of all the rust and stuff. We took off his little center grill here. This is kind of broken some places here. See what I can do with that. And then this is the headlight, passenger side headlight trim. It's it's kind of beat up, but I mean, really, what do you expect? I mean, it's 1968, right? And then of course, whoops. So I'm marking all the bolts. So this is the driver's side I started taking off. And then this piece that just fell, those are all the passenger side bolts. So there we go. The compressor just turned off. I got my DA here. So let's flip you around and do this. You get the picture. So I'm going to pause it, skip the sanded down, and then we'll be right back and show you what we're doing next on this. So while I'm letting that set up, I'm starting to take the fender apart. Actually, I only have one more bolt left. It's a 1/2 inch in the front, so they're 1/2 inch. Hold on, let me swip this around. So we have 1/2 inch, these two 1/2 inches right here, and then I took the 1/2 inches out of here. So I'm going to take this whole piece off with the bumper, right? The hood hinge is attached to the fender, and then there's one 9/16 bolt right there. One here. Behind the door, right there. And then there's two on the bottom. So the two on the bottom, I guess it's got a cage nut of some sort inside the apron. So what I had to do was, it's down here. So what I had to do was I actually cut the washer part off. So because these fenders just slide in, so they're slotted, right? So that's it on that one. So let me set you up, take the last bolt out, and then pull this fender off. And there we go. So I found a little bit of booty back there. Phillips head screwdriver. An old body bolt. And then I found two shims. So these shims probably go on the bottom screw or bolts. So let me show you the cage situation here that we have to fix, so we can get that fender back on when we're ready. So here we are. So there it is right there. That was just spinning and spinning. Oh, there's another shim. I can't forget that. But yeah, but you know what? This is totally solid in through here. There's nothing going on. I like that a lot. Whoops. So there's no rust. We just got to clean all this stuff up. Got some spider webs going on here. I'll take that. And then we got that whole fender is off. Super excited. Let me get the other fender off too. So we're going to start on those lower ones because those ones will be the bare. Hopefully they won't be like the other ones and they'll just break right free. Let's see. Let's do this. We're going to use the wrist saver. So it's just going to be bump, bump, bump. I'm not going to and try to drive it on and out of there. Just little bumps. They're spinning. So one of our 1/2-inch cage nuts that goes into the radiator support is broken free. That's the last bolt that I require to get it off. So I'm going to try to lock onto the back of the nut, or the cage nut, to try to hold it in place just to get this bolt off. When you're done asking it to come off, you make it come off. And I will tell you, this little tool right here, this is probably one of the best tools I own. I'm gonna be honest. It's small, compact. You can reverse it one way or the other so sparks don't fly in your face like I just did. So I got that bolt off. Let's see if we can get the fender off. Fender number 2. So let's get this inner fender plastic piece off the fender. I already took it off the driver's side, so let's take it off the passenger side. There's a series of 1/2-inch bolts, and they're all the way around here, and they got little clips in the fender liner. On the driver's side, one of the clips were spinning, so I had to get on there. And it should just lift off. But that's what they got, little cagey deals. That's definitely got some tire on it. Oh man, that baby saw some racing, right? Okay. So now we have these little turn signal, whatever, running light indicators. They're speed nuts. So we gotta kind of be real gentle taking them off. There's a couple here to hold this on. There we go. So that's the little guys. So they're just like little hats. They kind of cut into the pot metal, which create it to keep tight. So in today's world, you only get you don't even get that. They just pop on, they just clip in or pop on, kind of chintzy like. But man, back in the day, they used to build these things to last. I mean, look at this thing. This thing is 1968, right? It amazes me that, you know, different time, I guess, different time. Now they make cars. I'll be honest, I deal with cars now that you know, you look at them wrong. Core support, all of a sudden we're replacing core supports because it's just so damaged, and it's like $1 million to fix them. But anyway, okay. So those are off. So now I gotta kind of, sorry. So now I gotta kind of pry this because this one's kind of hung up here. Oh, nope. There we go. So that's what I mean. They're just little studs that are just a tad bit bigger than the actual speed nut that goes on them. Man. Anyway. So this right here is the brace that goes up underneath. These are actually Phillips head. So I'm gonna douse those, and then I'm gonna let them sit for a minute, and then in the meantime I'm gonna index the hood latch right here. This massive thing. This right here, if this springs off without the hood on it, this will kill you. Like, no joke. Alright guys, so that's going to wrap it up for today. As you can see, it's starting to get dark. It's the temperature is dropping fast here in Florida. It's like 56. So I did get the quarter panel put in the fiberall stuff, so I'll let that sit overnight. I kind of like that anyway, better than just getting right after it. But almost the entire front end is apart. He said he wanted to paint the radiator support that wrinkle black or whatever he's going to do the firewall. I mean, I'm right here, right? So that's how these projects go, you know. It's like one thing goes to another, goes to another. Hey, I got the fenders off. Really, it's just like 4 more bolts and that whole radiator support comes out. I don't know. I think I'm just gonna take the radiator support out, clean it all up. I think I should paint that blue. I don't know. What do you guys think? Put a comment down below. Do you think I should paint the entire radiator support? This piece, the upper piece, I'm definitely painting blue. Well, what do you think? Think I should paint all this other stuff blue? Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think I should do on that one. Or just leave it black, like the firewall will. I'd love to paint the firewall will too, but I know he doesn't want to take all that stuff off, so I don't blame him. All right then, so I will catch you guys in the morning. It's supposed to be like 40-ish in the morning, so I may not get out here till a little bit later because, yeah, it's 40 degrees. It's not so bad because the sun does come out and it's warm, but in this metal building, it is bad because it's cold. I don't have it insulated or whatever like that. So anyway, we'll catch you in the morning. Well, good morning guys. So we're going to, I have a few things I actually have to do today, and it doesn't involve this. So I'm going to finish taking this fender apart, and I got to get this off, and then we're going to go to the other fender and take that apart. It's the same thing as this fender, so it's not like I'm going to record that. And then probably get the quarter panel sanded down a little bit better, and that'll probably be it today. So let me get going on this, and we'll go from there. So let me show you these, they're barrel clips is what they are. So the 442 emblem on the fender, they're individual numbers, right? and how they come through the fender and they click into a barrel clip. They're kind of tricky. I haven't done them in a long time, so let me spin you around and show you how they clip in, and then I'm going to try to get them out without damaging the actual barrels. The emblems themselves, the little tabs that come through, or the pins, those won't get messed up. It's the barrels that usually get kind of broken, is how that usually works. So let me give you a spin around and show you. So here they are. So as you can see, they kind of latch onto it. As you push them through, they click through those threads. So you can see they get kind of rusty over time. So getting them, actually that one right there already looks a little damaged. I know you can buy them, but let me see if we can get those out without having to buy them. All right. You can do it this method too. It's just sometimes those little things on the back will break, but those barbs are pretty rusted up, so I'm just doing it this way. You can get plastic trim tools or whatever, but this is how I do it. And there it is. When taking all this stuff apart, it's really about just slow and easy wins the race. You don't want to get too aggressive with this stuff because, you know, this is 1968 stuff, and so these will actually polish up really good. Yeah, they'll look real nice. They've got a little bit of pitting on the edges, but so didn't my my GMC's emblems on the truck. It's the same way. I sanded them down with some 800, and then I just polished them up, and then I cleared them so they wouldn't patina anymore. I want to get with him to see if he wants to paint inside the letterings, which is no big deal. If he does, then we'll show you that process. It's real easy, but I will be cleaning these. If he wants paint on them, great, I'll paint them. Either way, they'll get polished up, and then I'll clear them so they'll stay nice and polished. So I'll put those in my bag as well. And then this fender is completely taken down, right? So we have everything off the fender that we need to have off. We do have a hole right here for an antenna that he's not going to put an antenna in it again. So I will be welding up that hole there. We'll be cleaning the back side with, there is some rust on the back side, of course. So we're going to clean all that up and treat all that, and then fix the rust down here, down on the bottom, because that's where all the leaves seem to collect and stuff like that. So I'm going to disassemble the driver's side fender. It is pretty chilly here in Florida, which normally is no big deal, but I don't do any kind of work with fiberglass fillers or anything like that if it's below 60, which it is. they say, some people say, oh, it's no big deal, you know, it's a catalyzed chemical reaction which hardens it up. But me personally, I don't like to do it. You know, same thing, I don't like to paint under 60-degree weather as well, even though at work we do. But we have specialized clears for that and stuff like that. We do not have heated booths at work. So yeah. So anyway, so let me get the other fender all torn apart, everything off it. I'm not going to bore you with recording at all, because you did see how I did the passenger side fender. So that times 2, and then just make sure that everything that you take off is slow, easy going, so you don't break anything, and bag it all. Definitely bag it all. Some of these bigger parts, you know, like these guys, the fender headlight pieces, this stuff, the trim, this will go in a box, and the box will be labeled passenger side fender, and then the hood hinge will go in that box as well because it's large, so that'll be all passenger side stuff in that box. That way when it comes time to and I'll shelve it, and then when it comes time to put it back together, I can just go right to the passenger side stuff, and there we go. All right, so let me get the other fender done and we'll go from there. Okay, so here's a perfect example of what you try not to do. This is the trim that goes around the headlight on the top of the fender there, and see that? That's what happens. It's just old pot metal. There's some people out there, you can send these out if they're like uber rare and you can never find a new one, and they can like weld this back together. But over the years, that's kind of what happens, and no matter how this is kind of locked up on that thing, this is just what happens. So if this is the only casualty I have with all this trim, I'm good with that. There's ways of making this work. You know, you can actually you can kind of like sand this off. I say this hesitantly because, you know, I may get a comment about it, but you can kind of sand that out, drill a small hole in here, like really tiny, and then wrap it with tape, use it as like a form, and then you can put panel bond down in there, like a high strength panel bond, and then it basically will recreate a peg, and then you get yourself a new speed nut dealio, and then you can put it on there and it'll hold it. So there's a little trick for you if you come across one that's, you know, I wouldn't try to do it on all of them because these 3 are going to hold it on. This one's going to sit there to keep this up in place against the fender, so it won't look like, that looks weird, it's not attached. I'm just saying, just a little trick for you if you need to do one. Just saying. So let me finish taking this fender apart. So we got the driver's side fender all stripped down, just with that one casualty in the front piece. It does have little rubber mounts that are hard as rocks. There's 3 of them on each fender. I have a feeling I will not be able to get those out without breaking them. So yeah, but they're not soft or pliable. They're hard and brittle. I started to try to pop one out on this side, and they just broke off in the back, you know, pieces of it. So we'll address that one as we go. So what I don't mind doing in below 50-degree weather is sanding. So as you can see, so the product that I put on here, Fiberfill, it's made for heavy dent work, that kind of deal. But as you look at it, as I'm sanding it, you can see I don't have very much on it. So there's not, it's like the typical body work kind of situation is, you know, you put a lot on and you knock off like 90% of it, if not more, right? So as you can see, you can still see through it, you know, obviously not where it was pushed in from the old quarter with the new quarter welded on it from previous, but basically everywhere that I'm feathering it all out, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get on this. I'm going to clean my hands because I do have PB Blaster on them from working on the Fender, getting all those nuts and bolts and stuff loose. So I'm going to clean my hands up so they're nice and clean, so I don't transfer any kind of crap on here, because you know, we don't need any issues down the road, right? So I will do that, and then I'll start sanding on this. It's the same process as sanding this. I'm going to do it with my long block, and then that's probably it, unless it all of a sudden gets like plus 60 degrees. That's all I'm going to be doing with the Bodywork on that. But we got some other things we can do. So I'm still debating whether or not to take off that core support, because what it looks like to me is there's one bolt on each side, right there and there, and then the radiator is supported inside that. So taking this top piece off, the radiator support has these two little whippoorwill things that hold the radiator in place. The radiator is leaking. It's leaking on that side right there off the tank, so I do believe he's getting another radiator for it. So but I just don't want to drain all the fluids out of it, because it's not my motor, it's not my car. So when he was here yesterday, he did fire it up real quick just to make sure all his wiring was right, meaning the charging system was right. And like I said, he did switch out the master cylinder, bled those brakes out. Bob's your uncle, the thing stopped still. Well, I don't know, it's still on the thing, but he says it'll stop. So if I take this upper off and I take the core support off, the radiator is just going to dangle. I don't know yet, so we got to talk to him about that a little bit more. Remove all the wiring from it, but I still have to take out the headlight bucket and that. So let me get sanding that off, and then we'll be back to see where we're gonna go from there, because I can sand down these fenders for sure. Probably gonna sand them down with 180, smooth out the bubbling, see what's going on behind there, maybe weld up that hole over there on that where the antenna went. But yeah, so we'll get into it, how ferocious we feel in this colder weather. Okay, so as I'm sanding this quarter, I'm thinking to myself, why don't I explain this real quick? So, you know, by the way, I'm loving this tool. This was like 30 bucks off Amazon. It's Dura Block something or other, but yeah, I love how this is. I can already tell that this is probably going to give out after a while because it's plastic, but you can get a metal one and put in there, probably be way much better. But so as I'm sanding this, I see at work especially, so this is just a little tip here, tip and trick kind of deal, so I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of information here. So as you're sanding it, you pretty much let the sand block do the work. So when I say that is, I see some people just really getting into it and just kind of, basically they're sanding it like they hate it. Well, you can't really do that. You're just there pushing the tool, right? So, you know, I see some people just getting on, you know, dust is flying everywhere, and I get it, but you know, really, it's just letting the sander do its job. Because if you start pushing on this stuff to really get in there and I'm cutting it fast, you're gonna start bending the metal. I know it sounds kind of weird, but it's true, because you know, you probably can't see it from there, but just me pushing a little bit of pressure on here, the metal is kind of moving in a little bit. So you'll never get it flat, right? You'll never get that line good. It'll always be a little wavy, and you'll be like kicking yourself in the butt all the time, like, I'm sanding this, I'm blocking it, I'm using the tools, why is this not getting flat and straight? I'm doing everything right. Well, maybe you're just pushing too hard, right? I mean, it's 80 grit. I don't need to help it any more than what it's doing. It's cutting it fast. So it's just kind of like, I'm putting like zero pressure on it. And it's cutting it down. You know? That's good. I mean, I've been sanding on this for like, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes or whatever, and I've already got this all right, you know. Anyway, just a little tip there. I'm gonna get back to sanding. Okay guys, so we got that sanded pretty flat. Like I said, the old and the new quarter that was put on, come to find out, I did get all the history on this. It's a three-quarter quarter panel that was put on. So it's actually, it comes up like this and then it goes down like that. So I mean, you can pretty much see it when you look at it. I know I can see it from looking at it, but we're still low here. Just ever so slight. And then the transition from the bodywork that was here, and then to me bringing out the whole dented area that was right here. We're probably just a little right there. I mean, you can see it actually. So, you know, you can tell this is high here and that's still low right there. But that little bit that's right there doesn't warrant using the fiber fill. This is just a skim coat. So the quarter panel will get a skim coat of the 3M Platinum filler stuff. It's real lightweight, but it'll be perfect. I mean, whenever you look at any of the cars out there, like show quality or whatever, and it's said on all the channels or whatever you talk to, generally they all get a skim coat just to block them all out, which is what you can see. I mean, that was there before, right? So you can see that there is I want to say, just looking at like 3/16 of an inch of skim coat up there. So just being transparent on how we're doing this. So that's how it is. So basically from that line up and to the door, if need be over in this area, will be skim coated to kind of just level it all out. It's not that bad. Okay, so the owner did stop by today. Just so everyone knows, the owner only lives like 15 minutes away from me. So he did stop by and we got talking about the emblems, and we're gonna paint the lettering inside the emblems the same color as the car. And also I talked him into this. So we pulled the front radiator out. I will be taking off this entire core support to clean that up, because it's really, I guess, pride of workmanship, right? I don't know. I just hate for him to lift open the hood. We're doing everything else, and then this be, you know, this being looking like this. And he says I can do whatever I want with it. Like, do I want to paint it black? The top half, the color of the car. Bottom half, black. He says that he's good with it. So this video is turning into me basically disassembling the car. So, like I said, radiator is out. He took it with him because he's going to either have that one record or he just wants it for measurements to get a new one. But we will be taking off the core support. So let's take that off real quick while we can, because we're not going to be doing any more body work. That's obvious. I've already got the fenders all stripped down, so we'll probably end on the core support here. This video is basically turning out to be disassembling the front clip versus what I wanted to get done this weekend. But you know what? With this kind of work, you just kind of flow with it, right? This is what we're going to do. So I have to pull the wiring harness that runs from the firewall all through that off first before I can relieve it from the car. And it's basically just 2 bolts. So let's do it. Alright guys, this is gonna wrap this weekend up. So wanting to get the quarter panel all wrapped up-ish, we ended up taking off the whole front clip. Doesn't matter to me, all's got to get done. It's just about going with the flow here. Sometimes you have a plan going into something, and then at the end of the deal, you're doing something totally different. But I will have to say that it kind of went very smoothly. Like I said, the client came here a couple times this weekend to work out some stuff, and he dropped off some cutting torches for me. So that's a win-win if you ask me, just alone. Cutting torches, 2 torches, big tanks, cart, and 3 different sets of hoses. Short, medium, and really long. So that's always nice to have a nice cutting torch in the shop. So here I'm going to clean up all my tools and put all those away, because usually I have a habit of leaving them all out, and then I spend more time when I'm starting to work to clean all the tools up. So I'm trying to get more into the habit of cleaning up tools. I got a couple horses I got to put together. I went down to Harbor Freight and bought some. I had one of them 20% off coupon deals or whatever. So it made sense to me to get 3 or 4 more horses. Oh, this is going to wrap it up. If you liked the video, or leave a comment that it was awesome, or something that you would rather have done differently, or whatever. I read the comments because I don't have a lot of them. So I read them. And I appreciate everyone that comes in and takes a peek and actually lasts this long on these videos, because like I said, I'm trying to do them a little longer, but you know, I get the idea of sanding stuff, and then I kind of time lapse a little bit, explain what I'm doing, and then usually I'll go off camera and just finish it up, because you know, I can't, I mean, really, am I going to do 8-hour video of me sanding and stuff? Probably not. So anyway, thanks again for watching, tuning in. Hit like, share, subscribe. The little bell icon on the bottom will notify you of any more uploads I do on this beast over here, or any uploads in general, because we still have a few things we got to finish up with that once I get the parts in. There's some things I want to do with a bus project that I have. Well, I started 5 years ago, but we're actually going to bring it around and do some stuff. I'll have a video going more into that. But yeah, so I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks again, and remember, go out there and build something cool. Doesn't take much. Just do it. Thanks again. Bye.